Well, that was my sign. I don't know who that was calling that was able to get through. I was able to get through and stop the video. The calls usually don't stop the video, it just comes through. I don't know why that particular call stopped the video, but we're going to receive and accept that the video is over. Uh, take what you need, leave the rest on the shelf, but always, always be your lovely, ugly self. Greetings, divine ones. I am here to share with you a message from the collective for the collective. As always, take what you need and leave the rest on the shelf. The first card that jumped out was play. Okay? Your heart chakra is needing to experience a freedom, an openness, a love of some sort for self, and funny, I did this painting yesterday or really the night before, and I didn't have my painting tools, right? So I improvised. I used plastic and I just, I had fun with it, and it was like, okay, I was inspired, I don't know if you can see, like, this is my daughter, and I was inspired to let things come through me no matter what I was going through, right? Because uh, I had a situation where I was dealing with black mold in my place. So I went and stayed at a hotel and everything, and um, pretty much said what needed to be said, um, moved in how I needed to move. And, there's such an awareness that came of letting go, not letting myself be consumed by darkness, right? Find room for play. So if I don't know if you can see, I got my music studio set up here. I'm learning to make beats. You might be like, whoa, you're in this situation where you're displaced, and I'm not at a hotel anymore. A friend let me come stay with her. But the situation is such where you might be like, well, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? That's what ego would come tell me. Ego would come say some things and make me feel like I'm not doing enough when I've done what I needed to do. I've checked all the boxes of the material world. If somebody comes and asks me, well, have you been searching for this? Have you looked here? Have you done that? I can be like, yes, yes, and yes, I have. And guess what did not return from those things? Nothing of statue has returned from those things. But you know what has returned? When my heart told me to do something, when my heart guided me somewhere, and that thing actually produced a result. Quickly, might I add. So, Spirit is really asking you to be in this place where your heart can receive the blessings that you are deserving of. You are deserving of love, of the to experience the oneness, the divinity that is you. You are deserving, my love. You are worthy of the blessings. You are not uh you are not below the reception of blessings, I'm getting an image of like how, maybe religious people maybe in more of the Christian faith might say things like, Lord, I am not worthy of your, whatever, whatever. Like, why are you saying that? You are worthy. Why did they teach you to say that? They taught you to be against your power, but they didn't know that they were doing that. Some people knew, but I do believe that there are um, people who simply just follow tradition because that's what they were taught. They may not know what they're repeating. They may not know, they know that they've heard this come from somebody that they love and respect the authority of. But this is a season of respecting your own authority. I'm almost complete with, I'm about to publish an ebook. It's a part of a bigger mini series, right? And it's on self leadership. This first chapter is really about, um, operating in uncertainty. So this chapter is going to go in my book because of my life is going to go in this chapter because I am operating in complete uncertainty. I don't know what the next step is. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 minutes. Somebody could come in here and say, "Oh, you doing that witchcraft. You got to get out." Because that's what happened before to me. I was in a safe place. And then a woman who I respected, who I thought loved me, told me, "Hey, you guys to leave because you doing this." And I'm like, "What?" All I did was say a prayer for you. All I did was put a prayer stone that said love, that said prayer on a table, and a candle, and my grandmother's picture and your picture. Oh my God. To you, you see me as doing witchcraft. And so you're putting me out. You don't understand that I'm actually sending you love. I'm not conjuring anything like, if anything, what you be doing at that church, what your son and son-in-law be doing, which he conjures other spirits in that church and permeates through that church in ways that would be shunned. I was privy to inside information, direct information of transgressions that this pastor was doing. Yet everybody is following him like a fish on a hook, you know what I mean? Like everybody's following him while he's out here spreading his royal oats. And it's such a common thing. And the ego, when you understand the ego and the way that it moves, you start to see how the ego forms in illusion under certain archetypes of thought. So it's like, okay, this pastoral archetype, why is it that so many pastors are caught up in situations where they're either dealing with someone of the same sex and they're hiding it, or they're dealing with someone of the opposite sex in mass and hiding it, or they have secret children, or why are their kids having this stigma over them that they are sexually, as they would call it, deviant. I believe that they're processing the energy in that, which is shamed and trying to be hidden. And what is hidden always comes out into the light. And so I think that happens on many levels. And so where we are unable to capacitate in our mind, like have the capacity to see in our mind, is how these structures are affected by this secrecy, by this shame, by this guilt. I am not worthy. That is a sense of shame. Why are you not worthy? You are. you know and so it's like, that would be a whole nother video, like me really getting into detail about the archetypes and pastors and the energy in the church. But it's like, while he's operating in secrecy, this is the energy that he's conjuring up, and he's spreading it to the church. This is what y'all are connecting with. This is what y'all are praying to. This is, if pastor said this, is y'all have made this pastor your God. you know and so there's an understanding of knowing your solidity, your place in spirit. There's always a sense of uncertainty in what you can't see. But what you experience, you can trust it. but other people may not see or understand your experience. So when you're out here playing, right? People don't know what's going on in your mind. They don't understand, right? I saw a video of a girl, she was being super silly, just like, but then her boyfriend, he's like in the background all mad, like, man, stop playing, man, chill out. And it's like, he can't access or bring himself to access that playful place while she's out here activating the play. She's activating that spirit. Play, baby. Whatever that means to you, let your mind and your heart be free for a moment and be present. Let it be present. Let it fill your blood, your veins. Oh, I'm getting emotional because I feel it. I can feel the passion in what I'm experiencing. So the tears of release are the tears of the parts of me that didn't get to come out and play. And now we're finally letting the release happen. So I cry tears for you, collective. You know, you are here to do some things. Whoever's watching this video, you are meant for wondrous things in this incarnation. I'm telling you, you are here to do some things that, oh, when I tell you, whew, you are here to do some things that are going to change the dynamic of your family lineage of what they thought they could do. Okay, if you're watching this video, you are here to do that. And Spirit is asking you to not just sit your ass down from your egoic thoughts of thinking that you always have to do in this avenue, that you now get to sit back and receive these activations, the love, and you get to go and explore the road less traveled. You get to explore that avenue, right? Letting go of the guilt of what you think people think you should be doing. And if it's not people, it's your own mind of standards that you have for yourself. Therefore, you place them on others, which becomes judgment around where others are. And it's like, your inner self judgments becomes judgments on other people, right? And then when you find yourself getting irritated, like for me, I talk very measured. People would call it slow. I'm very like, I talk melodically, right? And I notice when I watch YouTube videos, I play them on 2 times. Like they got to move fast. Like everything, I process things really fast. So I'm like, come at me fast. You know what I'm saying? Like I process fast, right? And so I'm listening to a video today and I noticed myself getting a little impatient with the person who was sharing this impertinent information that was very wonderful information, but it was just coming very slowly. And I was like, dang, I can't even speed it up on 2 times on Instagram unless you know a way. But I was like, dang, I can't even do the 2 times. I want to get the information, but dang, it's moving too slow. Like I needed to speed up faster. And I noticed that within myself, but I had literally just told someone because somebody else commented on a video and said, get to the point already. And so I inadvertently took in the judgments of others in this interaction. It's so subtle, like you don't even really, that's why every day you must clear. Every day you must make sure that you get in alignment with yourself and make sure you clear off anything that don't belong to you. You know what I mean? Because thought forms are just such, they don't mean that they are you. Your thoughts do not necessarily mean it's you, right? Thoughts come and go. They're passing in a sea of hundreds of thousands of thoughts per minute. You know what I'm saying? You just don't always capture those thoughts. They're going all around like it's crazy. So me, I'm sitting here like, and I recognize the irritation. And what I said to myself, I said, well, if I'm irritated with this, I do this. This is how I talk. This is where knowing self comes in. This is how I talk. So why am I irritated? Am I irritated with myself? No, I took on because somebody else told me I could have told a 3 minute story in 3 seconds or something like that, and made commentary and all of this stuff. And when a lot of people benefited from the information that I was giving, but apparently that person didn't, and they had to say something, like they had to make it known, like why the fuck you had to say something? I don't need your commentary. You know what I'm saying? Go find somebody else video who talks faster. Apparently, something about you wanted to get this wisdom from this video. Maybe something in you recognize something in the caption that needs to be recognized. And apparently you here watching this video for a reason. So why is you shunning me and you over here telling me what I need to do? No, I didn't need to speed the story up. And I said it to him. I was like, I did not need to speak the story. If I told the story in transparency and fullness and how I wanted to share it. So this I took to myself today when I said, I noticed the irritation in myself. It must be against myself. In this moment, I released it. I released any judgments, any forms of any ideas on myself that were not serving my true self, my highest self. Me talking slow and measured allows spirit to move and complete the clarity of what I am saying when it comes out to you. Because if I was talking too fast, which I can talk fast sometimes, and sometimes it comes out, if I'm talking too fast, sometimes I may not hear or get the fullness of what I'm trying to say to you. I might stumble over my words, I might not. Either way, the point is that there are times where I speak faster. There are times where I am speaking slow and measured. And I accept all this aspect of me. And I'm telling you this for a reason, because I'm reminding you to accept the aspects of you in which you have cast judgment upon yourself. You understand? Go back to your heart and remind yourself of the love of who you are. You love yourself, right? Don't worry about all of that other stuff that you feel, because you have to know you're not self in order to know yourself. And you can only know you're not self by experiencing yourself and saying, you know what? That's not who I am. And you get to try it again. You get to have another experience to express who you are. You get to have the clarity that you need on yourself. You get to have the clarity that you need. This is throat chakra covers. This is oh, actually wait. I don't know. This blue. Their colors, I can't tell if they be blue, purple, or violet or whatever. But I assume clarity, this might be third eye stuff. You know what I'm saying? And third eye chakra. But the reality is that you are able to see things. See, it's all extra purple in the book. And right here it's looking real blue. So, yep, third eye, right? So, you have attracted this card into your awareness today because clarity is upon you. The ability to experience clarity is connected to the third eye chakra, and the more the chakra opens and is activated, the more clarity you will receive. It's time to see things clearly, to receive the answers you have been searching for. When our third eye chakra is blocked, it can affect our perception of situations in our lives, right? That's what I was telling you, like how you perceive yourself. And that's how you're going to move. So ensure that you are seeing yourself through the heart and the eyes of love. This is when you're perceiving yourself correctly. When you're perceiving yourself as anything less, then that's what's going to produce in your experience. So you're being encouraged at this time to cleanse and work on strengthening your third eye chakra so it can work to its full potential. There are some great meditations that you can do to activate the third eye, and a great crystal to assist with this is the amethyst. This has been coming out a lot lately. Amethyst. Place this crystal on your third eye point and breathe in its energy to help activate and awaken your chakra. As your third eye opens, you will receive a lot more clarity in your life. Clarity comes when we can understand and clear the confusion around stressful situations in our lives. What in your life requires clearing? It is now time for you to action some clearing. Sometimes our minds create illusions that stop us from seeing the truth. It is time for you to let go of the thoughts that no longer serve you and come into a place of clarity. Once you receive this clarity, you will feel a deeper sense of self and well being in your world. This card can also indicate that it's time to clarify a particular situation in your life. You may have asked a question, and this card is telling you that once you work on finding clarity, the answers will come. And the affirmation is I experience life with divine clarity. And I want to share a story that keeps coming up in my head because I feel like I mentioned the woman putting me out for what she was, considering witchcraft. And when she put me out, it was, to me, it was her misunderstanding. And it was also her own perceptions. But it works to a higher standard as well because I did not need to continue to be in that dark space where she required me to go to church with her and to be in the energy of this pastor who now his wife is coming after me as if I'm, oh, you coming after what I'm wearing? You're coming after things like your sister's coming after me for not wearing for my dress being slightly above my knees. What? You it's not even tight. Even if it was, that's my prerogative, but it's a loose dress that's right above my knee. But you got a problem with that. And you're sitting here worried about your husband looking at me. And there were things that were made very clear that that was what was going on. When your husband is having sex with the leader of your choir. Like, that's crazy to me how we can sit here and, it's like we sense things, we perceive things, or whatever. And this is why you put me out. You put me out because I was praying in love for you. I didn't add anything. And that's what the perceptions and inner demons will have you to believe. So the thing is, I feel like I was bringing that up because even now I'm in a situation where I'm not in my own place, right? I'm not in my own house. Um, I do have a place, it's just contaminated. So, in order to be safe and to take care of my health, I had to leave to make sure that I was no longer in a place of contamination. So, to me, that lines up with even there, even though she put me out, I got out of contamination. Now I'm in a space where I chose to leave the contamination myself. It was almost like a divine initiation, a test of some sort. But I'm now in someone else's place. And I know that, yes, they operate in love and they're not as um, blinded by things as that woman, but they are a follower of Christ. And there was a moment we were sitting at the table, and the daughter asked if the cards were witchcraft. And she said, well, I mean, kind of. I mean, well, these are about herbs. And, but in the Bible, it does say that this is divination. And so it was like she was trying to explain it in a more open and loving way, but she makes it clear she's a follower of Christ, right? And I am a embodiment of Christ. Okay? That's so when people say they're a follower of Christ, I presume that you are seeking embodiment of Christ's energy, of the Christ, because Christ in itself is a title, a definition, a title. It is not a name. So this enlightened being of embodiment that we're all seeking to experience, whether it's Buddhism, Buddha, you know, whatever, like whatever. And I know I was attracted to pulling forth the Ethiopian Bible because there's a lot of powerful women in that book that were embodiments, and they were buried because it didn't fit the agenda of what was being put out. So it's just like all these things and people, places, and things are serving a certain agenda to match their perception of things. And so when we get caught up in those things, it's like, when we recognize that we're caught up, we can get out. But for me, I seek oneness in understanding people, accepting people for where they are. I don't judge people in a sense of like that I'm judging them in a way that condemns them of some sort. If they're just being themselves, like they're just evolving and learning who they are through this particular tool, this religion, this relationship, this job, this business, this experience. I see people having an experience and I honor the experience. Not everyone can honor the experiences of others and still be centered in themselves. I was grateful because she said to me last night, she's like, "Hey sis, you just one of a kind." She said, you're centered. You're always so centered." And I'm like, I really appreciate that, but we're reflections. And I just really feel that what we see in another, it's what we see in ourselves. It's a reflection of what we see in ourselves or what we have the capacity to be. And I am very much a firm lover in and believer of love, and acceptance. But in this moment, I was reminded of an old fear I had of not being able to be my full spiritual self in whatever that is, right? Of watering down my spirituality, right? Wanting to hide myself and my spiritual tools because I don't want it to be looked at as negatively, right? I don't want it to be looked down upon and then possibly being put out. That was a thought that I was reminded that I had because of that old situation. So here I have my whole setup. I brought it, but I folded it over and covered it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, no, it's still here. I'm still gonna have my altar out. I'm still gonna have it here. This is how I am communing with spirit. This is my communication, right? This is how I ground myself. This is my. And then when I got here, she asked me that I want to, touch the holy oil, and I felt the energy of it. It's like for me, I find resonance in that we're all doing the same thing. We're just calling it something different. So while she had herbal cards, to shun any other form of cards would be a disservice. Because why are we shunning the things that are tools to be reflections of symbolism of what we're bringing forth? Of dreams. I had the download yesterday of like these cards being dreams, like it's like we dream in pictures, right? We dream in pictures, and sometimes it's abstract, but it's all symbolism of some sort. And I found this hack with ChatGPT where I would be like, um, don't, don't, like I start talking to it in a dream format. Like I don't say things are happening to me. I put it in a story form of a dream. And when it says something, like it'll give me the symbolism of whatever. And it'll say it in a dream for in a format of how I see things, of the perception of things, because it speaks very logically. I don't like how AI talks. I don't like how it, I just don't like it. So the times that I've explored it, because it is a tool that is going to be a part of our futures, whether we like it or not. And I'm also writing a book on it. So I have immersed myself in understanding it, and um, as a tool, not as a dependency or replacing what is naturally ours. It's learning how to use things responsibly, so then I can bring the wisdom and the sharing to those who are not in complete understanding of how to use its power for to serve them, versus letting it be a tool to be used against them. And I believe that all the things like religion and the things that's come to serve us have become tools that once were made out of love, that got turned into tools of restriction, tools of things that are now limiting us and limiting what we feel that we could do in our lives and how we get to live our lives. And it's just more and more we become restricted by our beliefs instead of being free in our experience. So I am a sovereign being that honors the sovereignty of others. You understand? So that's why people could feel at peace around me, because unless they're struggling with their own mind, because my sister, she said something to me the other day, you know, something my mother said about me. My mother was like, she's done with me and all this other stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I am such at a place where it doesn't faze me in the least bit anymore of what at one point me vying for the affection and attention and the emotional recognition from my mother, my earth mother, right? And she said to me, like when we were playing back some conversations, she said, yeah, she probably, because you was silent, she probably thought you was saying something, like thought you was judging her, or whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy, because I choose to operate in love, and I sometimes choose silence, not as a weapon, but as a tool of love, because you're not meeting me here. We're not meeting of the hearts right here. We're battling swords right now of the mind. And so, in that, I'm going to surrender to my heart and let you be in the sword fight with your own ego. And I'm not going to keep fighting you. I'm not open to that. So I choose silence and clarity, speaking in clarity. So when I am speaking, I'm more measured than I used to be. I used to be very fire, hot box, ah. What you say? I gotta come back. Bam, 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 bam. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the type of time I'm on anymore, because I'm just really in a place of just honoring people where they're at. And I'm saying this as a message. This is for someone. This is either someone is coming into this space, they're appreciating this space that they're in, they're resonating with this, or you're coming into this, you're being reminded of who you are through this video, of a reminder of giving yourself grace in and not letting the judgments and the ideas and the certainty of others override your own inner experience, where your inner experience is guiding you, right? Other people become very certain about the things that they believe. It doesn't make it true. So you have to honor your experience as such. Believe your experience over anyone else's. Now, don't take that as, you know what? I don't even feel I have to preface this, because I wanted to say some people would take it and they would um, flip it and dismiss others' experiences and be in extreme selfishness, and they will, there's this fine line. But I feel like the person watching this video, the people watching this video, um, I'm hearing Alex. I'm hearing some A names, S names, M, uh, earth signs, water signs. Um, Lots of water in your chart, lots of earth in your chart, one or the other. It's a collective reading. But, anyways, there is an energy of acceptance. I believe that the people that are watching this video don't need those disclaimers. You are a divine being. You are one of great magnitude. And all you need is reminders. All you need is reminders to remind you of where you need to get back to. I barely pulled cards just because they're just tools. They're not to be completely relied on all the time. Sometimes I'm going to pull more, but I just feel like what needed to come through has come through. And I'm in a place of peace with things. Can you see that? Lotus flower. Peace. You are blooming. You are a blooming flower. And you are coming into a beautiful space with yourself where you are letting yourself experience your own energy, your power, your acceptance of who you are. It may not have been easy to get here. And it may not be easy if you're part of the collective watching this that it's going here, or coming here, or being here, or becoming here, right? You are in such a rare space where love for yourself and your heart space is going to triumph over everything else. Let yourself be love. Let yourself be you. Let yourself experience you. And understand that life is to be lived and to be experienced. It is not to be shunned and found. You're not to find error in everything and everybody and everything. You are to find your oneness. You are to experience oneness within yourself that reflects outwardly to the oneness of seeing others. Because once you see yourself clearly, you start to see others clearly, because the truth is a vibration. The truth becomes a vibration where when you start living in wholeness and truth with yourself, other people can't even help but tell you the truth, even though they ain't trying to. Be like, I know you weren't trying to tell me that, but you did. Thank you for that.